Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, I would once again like to welcome all the learned panelists, the speakers, the sponsors, the partners, exhibitors, stall holders, the ex-railway officials, government officers, VIP delegates, attendees from India and all over the world to this second panel discussion of the third Rail and Metro Technology Conclave 2022. This event would not have been possible without the help, guidance, support and cooperation of you, one and all. And we are highly grateful for everyone's presence here at our event. Today's topic for the second panel discussion is new technologies in mass transit, regional and high-speed systems, and development of stations. The topic is multidimensional, and the speakers whom we have are also the specialists in their own areas. We will not be able to club the panel discussion focused on one particular area, but it will be on diverse areas which will give you substantial knowledge about each and every segment of the topic what we're talking about. Without taking any more of your valuable time, I will straight away get to the panel discussion about new technologies deployed in development of mass transit and high-speed systems. We have with us Shri Daljeet Singh, Director of Works, DMRC. Sir, a very warm welcome to you. What is the current status of Delhi Metro Phase 4 project in terms of progress, and by when can we expect these lines to be in operation?
As on date,
little up. Sound please. Mic sound.
good afternoon. Till date, we have completed 3 phases, and the corridor length as on date is 392 kilometer. It is going to be a 5th largest network in the world. Now in phase 4, after completion of 3 phases, the government of India has sanctioned 3 corridors comprising of 65 kilometer, namely Aero City to Tughlaqabad, 20 kilometer, then Janakpuri to RK Ashram, and 3rd corridor Mojpur to Majlis Park. As on date, all the tenders have been invited and awarded. For the civil work, JICA, this project is funded by JICA. That's why the vetting by the JICA is the prerequisite for the multilateral agency like JICA, and we have completed this activity, and we are about to complete the activity of inviting tender for all the system contracts. For non-JICA, for the last 2 years, work is in progress on all the 3 corridors. For the underground, still just has started. Regarding the progress, what they are mentioning, out of 100%, I can say it is only 32% of work has been completed, and we are expecting the first line, the Mojpur to Majlis Park, likely to be completed by June 25. The rest 2 corridors by September 26. This is the status.
Earlier, Rithala-Bhawana-Narela corridor of Delhi Metro was expected to have a light rail system. But now it has been suggested to convert it into a metro system. Can you share some insights into this development?
You must be knowing that in 2017, the Government of India, Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, based on the number of demands from the different cities that metro should be converted, should be sanctioned in their cities, and due to paucity of the funds, it's not possible to fulfill all the requirement of the funding. As a result, they have gone with the policy of metro policy. Under this policy, they have categorized the city having the population more than 2 million. They can go for the metro, subjected to fulfilling all the requirement in the sense they had to exhaust the alternate analysis in the terms of whether this fulfilling the BRTS alternate analysis is fulfilling or some light metro, then they should finally, if it is not feasible within that parameters, then they should go for the conventional metro. In the instance case which you are mentioning, the Thala and Barwala, this Narela corridor is 22 kilometers. Initially, as on date, this area is completely barren. Hardly any activity is there, but all this area has been acquired and been going to be developed by DDA, and there is a huge planning under Ajay. They are converting as a sub-city Narela, and in recently, before coming to MPD 2041, it was conceived by us that there will be hardly any traffic will be there. On base this analysis and based on the policy, the PHPT, which is the one of the count on basis, we divide whether we should go with metro light or the conventional metro or tram, whatever may be. But it was falling within the purview of metro light as per the policy. But the later part, with the incoming of MPD 2041, the DD has a big plan of converting this Narela into sub-city, and then we have thought of that we should go for the conventional metro, but in the degraded mode. Degraded mode in the sense will not be making this as a concourse. You must have seen that way where all rooms are there. We'll be doing away with this room system, all the systems. There will not be a firefighting arrangement except for just a conventional building. I can suggest extinguisher, that's all. No ASS, auxiliary substation for feeding the electricity to the rooms, no air conditioning, no underground tank business, no security system, no escalator, and as a result, the height of this corridor will come from 13 meter to 9 meter. I will be saving much. But once the traffic will increase, but mind it, here the rolling stock we are going to be the conventional, this which we are using now, but in degraded mode, as I mentioned, that way we'll use everything. But the later part, when traffic is going to increase, then we'll be enhancing just by adding all these facilities, so that you'll take care of that. This is the idea behind that way.
You mean to say there will be inferior infrastructure?
Yes. Not infrastructure, it is degraded mode, I say, because
degraded or okay.
The degraded mode means this is the facility which will be doing away with this, and rest controlling system through will be the depot only. No controls on the station. It will be, you can say, no manning at stations.
Is the objective to save the cost? Mainly?
Yes, this is the objective, the save cost, and the later part, if needs be, the provision funds, all things will be taken care of at the ground level. If need be, we can add on that way.
Thank you for the insights, Daljeet Singh ji. I'll come back to you in a bit. We have Dr. Christopher Kessler, Director, KFW. Welcome to the show, sir. How do you view the Indian economy in the next 3 years? How can KFW provide its expertise in this? And what are your future plans for funding the new projects? Just for a reference, KFW is one of the major financing banks from Germany. Am I correct, sir?
Absolutely right.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, thank you very much, and good afternoon to all of you. Yeah, maybe one or two sentences on KFW. You said already we are a development bank. We are financing many public sector utilities on behalf of the German government, and always in agreement with Indian government, Ministry of Finance in India. So we are working under the cover of the two governments. Well, we have started funding metros in 2016 with Nagpur Metro, and since then a number of other metro projects have been added to our portfolio. Well, back to your question, how do I see the next, Indian economy? Of course, India is growing, and I think why shouldn't it be growing? There's such a huge potential, and we are happy and proud to contribute to this growth of the Indian economy. But as a public bank funding mainly infrastructure or public sector, of course we can only contribute to create the framework conditions for growth, because actual growth has to come from private sector. And there, maybe I'm not the best person to speak about that, but I think there are some bottlenecks really motivating private sector to make use of the famous infrastructure that has been created in India. And looking from, say, point of view of German industry, what I heard and what I'm told is that there are some obstacles still for private sector, especially for foreign direct investments in India, and that has maybe a bit to do with bureaucracy, even though things have been eased already with for instance, the GST being, harmonized between all the states. But I think in this respect, there would be a lot of potential to, foster growth of the Indian economy.
Do you also cover the station infrastructure?
Say that again.
The stations infrastructure. When we talk about the funding of the metros, does it also cover the station infrastructure, or apart from the metro, do you also cover the station infrastructure?
Yes, absolutely. I think that is a very important part, especially when we talk about ridership. What is needed to achieve the targeted goals in ridership, and there, of course, stations are one factor. Well, when considering what makes, what motivates people to use the metro, I think many conditions are there with the metros here. The metros are clean, they are safe, they are modern, that's inciting people to use the metro. But some things could still be improved, and their stations play an important role. I'm talking about multimodal integration. I'm talking about last mile connectivity. I think those are the factors that need to be improved in order to make metros more attractive. I can say that from myself, my own experience. I'm living in Delhi, close to a metro station, but not close enough so that I can easily walk there. So maybe that's an excuse only, but I think if there would be a good, say, last mile connectivity, more people would be incited to use metros.
Naturally. Dr. Christopher, share some additional insights you would like to share about KfW signing Euro 442.26 million loan for the Surat Metro Rail project.
Yes, sure. Surat Metro was the last metro project that we appraised and signed. We did that together with the French Development Bank, AFD, which is a very close partner in several metro projects for us. And I think we try to add some value when we finance such projects, because it's not the first metro project, and metros are nothing new in India anymore. So, I mean, we have to justify the funding at concessional terms. So in Surat, this sort of finance plus, or the value added we brought, I hope we brought, was extensive study on climate and flooding. In a city like Surat, certainly an important issue. And it took us a long time. It delayed the signature of the contracts, but I think it was worth it, because now at least the methodology has been established, and from the response we got, from Gujarat Metro Rail Corporation, they are quite happy with this additional study that makes the new metro in Surat extremely climate proof.
Thank you, Doctor. I'll come back to you in a bit. We also have Shri Nirdosh Gupta, the Joint Chief Electrical Engineer, Uttar Pradesh Metro Rail Corporation. Welcome, Gupta ji, to you.
Thank you.
In Kanpur Metro, third rail system has been adopted. Can you provide some insights into the latest technology and its benefits?
A very relevant question. When we're deciding the traction power supply system for Kanpur, we have already completed one project, Lucknow Metro, which was on 25 kV AC traction system. So while deciding Kanpur, let me tell you a brief about what the DC traction system is. If we see worldwide, the global traction and power supply system scenario, 95% metro systems in the world are on DC traction system only. So it has certain benefits over AC traction system, like when you see the stringent target nowadays in the metro projects, the installation time required for any DC traction system is lesser as compared to the conventional one. Then second, we have already experienced various revenue interruptions due to external factors in AC traction system, majorly due to kite threats in the city area. So that was a major concern for us. In DC traction system, such kinds of failures can be avoided easily. The other part is, in DC traction system, when you use the rolling stock, many components can be eliminated. So the energy efficient rolling stock may be deployed. Other thing is that one more major concern was there, which we have, we have two projects together, Agra Metro project and Kanpur. And having the Agra Metro project, the PBH-PDT was around 25,000 to 30,000, and it was already approved on DC traction system. So we tried to make the similar type of system in both the cities to obviously having certain advantage over it, having the same design, having the same approvals, having the same system. So that's why we have chosen a DC traction system. And two technological advancement which we have used which are the first time in any DC traction system in India. We are using inverter technology. We'll talk about later also in that. Inverter technology we are using to use the regenerative braking of the rolling stock fed back to the grid. And one more thing we are using it. So this is how we are using this Kanpur.
There is Gupta ji, lot of discussion on the light metro systems in India. How is the power requirement and energy efficiency different in these metro systems compared to a full-fledged metro system?
Recently, maybe I think 4 months back, government has approved the Gorakhpur metro light system, which will be the first city in Uttar Pradesh to have the light rail system. In light rail system, like Daljeet sir has also told, we are trying to avoid the concourse. So in concourse, power requirement is very less. So, since the PHPTT is around 14,000 to 15,000 maximum, in Kanpur we are using three car trains with 12-ton axle load. So the power requirement is also very less. So we are going with 750 volt DC third rail system in Metro Light, and of course with lighter third rail, and similarly in stations also the power requirement will be very less. So instead of using conventional auxiliary transformer, which will use around 500 kVA, instead of that we'll use around 200 kVA. So the overall power requirement is around 10 to 12 megawatts only, 10 to 12 MVAs only. Unlike conventional system, like in Kanpur Metro, we are having for 2 lines, we are having around 100 MVA. So Gorakhpur is anyway, Gorakhpur is only 1 line having 15 kilometers. So if you consider it, if you compare it around, the requirement of conventional metro system for around 15 kilometers would be around 50 MVA. So instead of that, we are having only 10 to 12 MVA requirement, so which can be easily met with having single RSS also. Thank you.
Is there any fixed norms for the selection of the light metro systems?
Rightly, the main criteria of selection of any traction system, of any metro system, is the PHBDT, peak hour, peak duration traffic. And that only governs the power requirement. So when the PHBTD is in the range of 60,000 to 80,000, it's obvious that the number of rolling stocks will be more, so the power requirement will be more. So we should generally go for 25 kV AC traction system. When the PHPDT is around 40,000 or may 30,000 to 60,000, they can use a 750 volt DC traction system. If it is lesser than that, then it's better to use 12 ton, and in the normal cases, the rolling stock axle load is around 16 ton. When we are having the lesser PHBDT, less than 20,000, then we should go for a light rail metro system, which has around 12 ton axle load.
Thank you, Gupta ji, for your views.
Thank you.
I'll come back to you in a bit. We have Shri Jitendra Tyagi ji, Managing Director, Uttarakhand Metro Rail Corporation. Welcome, sir. What is the latest update on the project for metro services connecting Dehradun, Rishikesh and Haridwar? What is the timeline of this project?
Thank you, Mr. Goyal, and very good afternoon to everyone. See, Uttarakhand is predominantly a hilly state, and we have 2 plain areas. One is Dehradun area, and other is Haldwani or Pantnagar area. Dehradun area, because it is a capital town, so the planning to have a MRTS system was felt more in this region. Presently, the population of Dehradun is not much, and it does not justify as it is a metro system. But there is a huge potential of future development in this entire plain region. There are 3-4 cities and towns like Dehradun, Haridwar, Rishikesh, Roorkee. The entire region is plain and has a huge potential of development. So first thing what we did, that this entire region has been notified as a metropolitan area, so that this entire region will be developed as one unit. We have made a master plan of having a MRTS system. I'm using the word MRTS and not using a metro, light metro or other terms. I will come to that part later. So a master plan has been developed of about 100 kilometer, which will have two corridors within the city of Dehradun. It will connect all the three cities, Dehradun, Hardwar, Rishikesh, and also will have a possibility of extending the metro or MRTS to Roorkee also. So in phase one, we have taken up Dehradun city, two corridors around 24 kilometers. And technology, initially we selected Metro Light. Metro Light is nothing but LRT, which European countries are using the word LRT. Government of India has coined a new word, Metro Light. But after that, a new technology has been specified by Government of India, which is Metro Neo, which is nothing but LRT having rubber tires. That means traction is with rubber tires, and guidance will be either by a central rail or by side curbs. So Dehradun city will be having this Metro Neo system. Being on rubber tires, it has a greater deceleration or less braking distance. So the very sophisticated signaling systems are not required. It can work on wayside, line side signaling system. The project is already approved by government of Uttarakhand, and at the moment it is in the government of India under sanction. Our planning is that by end of this year, we'll have all these sanctions in place, and early next year we'll start our physical construction work. We are using not only the Metro Neo, but we will be using PRT, Personalized Rapid Transit System also, in the city of Dehradun as part of phase one. But that will be on PPP model. I would like to add something that you asked a question about where to choose Metro, Metro Light. See, as Gupta told that it depends on the PHPDT. But if you reduce the size of the metro coach, which many metros are having 2.75 or 2.55 meter coach also, and you reduce the number of coaches, you can still achieve lower PHPDT if you want. And as far as concourse is concerned, again, it depends upon the ridership. If you have to handle less number of people, whether it is metro or BRTS or any kind of MRTS system, you can avoid concourse. But if you avoid concourse, you have some other problems, like crossing from one platform to other platform. It has problems at interchange stations. Then when we say Metro Light or LRT, the biggest disadvantage of that system is that it is not truly access free. In the sense, why Metro Light cost is less? It is because the platform levels are lower. How they are lower? Because the entire floor level of the Metro Light is not at the same level. At wheel level it is higher, at gate level it is lower. So only a limited area remains access free, has free access. So to reduce cost, which we have adopted this, but there are some compromises also. So technology, as far as technology is concerned, the most modern thing is metro only. You can reduce the size of metro, reduce the capacity of coaches, you can reduce even axle load also by doing that. But we are adopting LRT because we don't need heavy metros, and we can reduce the cost of infrastructure. So in our system, we are using Metro Neo. Again, we will be having no concourse, but the problem will be that if one has gone wrong on the wrong platform, he has to come down and cross the road and then again climb to take the other road. So when you reduce the cost, you compromise in certain aspects. Thank you.
Mr. Gupta, any view on what Sir just said?
I totally I agree with Sir. When you try to reduce the cost, having the same functionality is difficult to achieve. We can try to achieve it. Like in Gorakhpur, we are, Sir rightly said that in interchange station, you need a concourse. So we are planning in that way where the interchanging stations are there, we are planning the concourse. So that way we are trying to optimize the cost, simultaneously trying to achieve all the functionality.
It's very simple. If you have money in your house, you will have a separate drawing room and separate living area, lobby. If you don't have that money, you have only a drawing room which is common for both.
Yes.
So it's just like that.
So you can
because,
just have the partition in
yeah,
between.
we have to build metro in many cities. Therefore, we cannot have
It is a
this
cat and
luxury
mouse
everywhere.
story,
Cannot have this luxury everywhere.
Naturally, you know, the price, quality and quantity are directly proportionate to each other. Tyagi ji, can you also brief us about some other major cities UKMRC is planning to develop and connect?
So as I told you, the first priority is this entire region, and first out of that also in phase 1 we are taking up Dehradun city and also Hardwar city. In Hardwar city we are making around 22 kilometers of PRT on PPP model. The project is approved by our board and it is now going for cabinet sanction. And I think within next 1 or 2 months we will be inviting tenders on PP mode. And the ridership is expected to be reasonably good. And we hope that we will get some concessionaire, and that because the construction of that technology is very fast. It is very light steel structure and prefabricated, so it can be completed in 1.5 years or 2 years maximum. And maybe 2.5 years it can be commissioned also. And now we are thinking of making a survey of the Haldwani Pandangar region, and I cannot comment on that unless we do some survey whether there is a need. Gut feeling sometimes proves to be wrong. So we cannot make metro or huge investment just based on our gut feeling. We'll have a scientific study done, as metro policy also envisages that you have to have a comprehensive mobility plan first and then alternative analysis of corridors and technology. Based on that, if it comes yes, then we'll go ahead.
Well, you know, it is remarkable that in the mountains we'll be having all these facilities, and, you know, we have a lot of hilly areas around in India.
Metro Neo has been selected. One reason is that because we have steep gradients in Dehradun city, and Metro Neo can be used even up to 13% gradient. We are not having that much, but up to 13% gradient worldwide Metro Neo system is working. Because of rubber tire, friction is more, so there is no chances of slipping. Whereas Metro can take a maximum 6% gradient.
I think in Paris it is all rubber tires.
In many cities it is.
Yes, it's all rubber tires, and they're highly successful, right? Thank you, Jitendra ji, for your views. And now we have Shri Ajay Sharma ji, Director, Ropeway and Rapid Transport System Development Corporation, Himachal Pradesh. In fact, we have a very diverse, panel today. And, well, we have Hardwar, we have Himachal, we have DMRC, UP, and Sharma ji, most welcome here. And
thank you very much, sir.
Himachal Pradesh is very close to me. I did my education from Shimla,
Okay, that's great.
from Bishop Warden School. Okay. And I think it's a beautiful place. Anyhow, can you share with us the core focus of Ropeway and Rapid Transport System? What are the kind of projects you are speaking to develop? It's amazing, you know, Ropeway and Rapid Transport System. Can you explain, sir?
Yes. Good afternoon, everybody. Now, as Mr. Goyal said, I am from Ropeways and Rapid Transport System Development Corporation, Himachal Pradesh. Yeah. So, we are a newborn organization. We were hardly 3 years old. We were born in 2019 when the Himachal Pradesh government thought of and conceived an idea of transportation by ropeways. Why ropeways? It's a new field in India. Other than Himachal Pradesh, none other state has so extensive infrastructure from the government side for developing ropeways. Earlier, ropeways were seen as a mode of it's a mode of tourism. It used to be a tourism project. But lately, it has been associated with the transport sector. As you know, Himachal Pradesh has very difficult terrain, mountainous areas where we have forests. More than 66% of our land which is classified as a forest. Then we have habitations which are far off from the national highways or state highways. We have many localities which are yet to be connected. We have many unexplored areas which we could not explore from tourism point of view. Then we have 3 major cities, Shimla, Manali and Dharamshala, which I think most of you people have come to Shimla during the summers, and you find the heat of traffic jams. It takes its 120 kilometers from Shimla, a place that is called Tara Devi, that's 110 kilometers from Chandigarh within 2.5 hours. Another 5 hours you take to reach your the district headquarters or your nearest hotels. So looking at all these aspects, and since we have very negligible rail and air connectivity, so we studied model across the different models of transportation across the world. In Europe, we went to South American countries. We have adopted ropeways as a mode of transportation. And now I think many of you people must be wondering why a ropeway man is there in a metro conference. It's also a mode of transportation. It's a metro on cables. So it's same. Purpose is same. Purpose is basically connecting and providing connectivity, transportation to the people. So we conceived idea of transportation by ropes. That's why this was born. And we are looking at it having different, milestones to be covered. Like first we thought of, since we have many tourism places which are very important to us, so we are looking at developing ropeways from tourism point of view. I have many unconnected habitations which we could not connect even during in that Pradhan Mantri Gramin Sadak Yojana, because for want of land or forest clearance. So those are also to be connected. Then urban transportation, then from decongestion of highways. These are ropeways most eco-friendly mode of transportation, having minimum damage to the environment and very few cutting of trees. And of course, last mile, first mile connectivity is already there.
When we talk about the ropeway systems and clubbed with the rapid transport system, are we going back to the Stone Age or are we going forward to the modern age?
See, basically, ropeway is a state subject. So, government thought of why not associating other mode of transportation like metros and metro lights or PRTs, like one we have in Heathrow, that is connected between two, there's terminals. So, that's why it's ropeways plus rapid also. Of course, we are going into the latest technologies. Ropeway as well as the other technology. Hyperloop also is one of my, it's my mandate.
Is it under implementation anywhere or functioning anywhere?
Which one? Hyperloop?
This ropeway with plus the rapid.
Oh, okay. Ropeway, of course. We have more than 5 ropeways. Few are coming up. Few are under construction, which will be operation by the next year. Then we have major one urban ropeway that we are planning a urban ropeway transportation system for Shimla town, which Shimla city, of course, which will be having a network of 16 kilometer ropeways, having 15 different boarding deboarding stations.
What do you say? 60 kilometers ropeway.
Yes, it is a 16 kilometer ropeway.
16.
Yes.
Okay.
Because 1 kilometer of ropeway means 10 kilometers of road travel in hills. So that's why 16 kilometer covers my whole of this Shimla city. It's from decongestion point of view. We will be having 15 boarding, deboarding stations. And one major point for that is how come the funding can be arranged for such type of projects? Because these are...
Mr. Kessler is there.
Yes, of course. We are, because these are basically capital intensive projects. So there are certain projects which are viable on PPP, exclusively PPP mode. There are certain projects which can have a mixed type of funding, like we construct these ropeways So capex is ours. For OPEX, we go for PPP mode. We go for the externally aided project, like my friend, Director KFW is sitting there. So NABARD also has agreed to provide funds for this ropeway connectivity. And that is our initiative, Himachal Pradesh government initiative.
Sharma ji, it is remarkable to listen to such kind of a system, which is an effective solution, and solution is one that works, right? And what are the prime advantages do you think you have over a typical metro system?
Like, yes. See, in hills our population is only 70 lakhs. And we are getting tourists somewhere up to, I think, in 3 cities last year data, this tourist count has already crossed 1 crore. So floating population is the major factor for going in for such type of transportation. Because for metro, you need to have, as Gupta ji said, you need to have a very high PPHD. We also design on the same data, we do traffic studies and everything we do. So number one thing is, since we are hilly states, and hilly states are with lesser population, more of a floating population, so that's why this type of transportation system is the best suited for our places. Second is very minimum disturbance to the environment. We want green transportation. We don't want to destroy our forest, and Himalayas is the relatively latest, youngest born mountains in the world. So we do not want to disturb that causes havoc. So that's why these systems, and otherwise also these are green system now, like they have a regenerative system in their metros. We also have regenerative systems in our ropeway system. And you will be wondering, 2012 there is a country called Bolivia. Its capital is La Paz. So it's in 2 parts basically. One is La Paz, another is Al Alto. Al Alto is having that airport. So they also had same problem. Metro was not coming up in that area because that's a fragile geology. So they came up with 32 kilometers of ropeway network, and nowadays 2 lakh people are traveling on that ropeway daily.
Thank you, Sharma ji, for your views. It is really encouraging to know that in the hilly areas, we are looking for solutions that work.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah. Come back to you in a bit, sir. We also have Mr. Madhusudan Lohia, Promoter Director, Merino Group. Welcome, sir.
Yes, thank you. Namaskar.
Yeah, Mr. Lohia, can you give us an overview of the Merino Group service operations in respect to the railways and the metro sector?
Yeah. Actually, this is going to be a departure from what we've discussed so far, because we are more involved.
I told you it's a very diverse panel, you know.
Right. So this is much more to do with the station infrastructure, or there are some products that we also do make for the coaches. I can dwell on that a little bit more also. But in terms of the infrastructure, especially the station infrastructure or this area, we make products and do offer solutions that can help in increasing the passenger experience, or in this way is the customer experience, as we may look at it. And these things do matter. So restroom solutions are some of these areas in which we do operate in. We do have, paneling scenarios which are very easy to maintain, which are very easy to clean and ensure that it gives across a hygienic and a very clean look all across. So we do this. We have been associated with a few metros. We've worked around in metros in around 10 odd cities or more across India, and in some railway stations also, including the new railway stations. Say one was the Habibganj. So there are some of these examples that we have, and we do feel that it's an area where a lot of things can be done. These are all internationally acceptable norms that are there. And I think these
are there some new technologies which you would like to introduce into the Indian market?
Yeah, so there are some more. So for example, now we are also venturing into the control room equipment, especially with furniture and related items for, and this is also for these specialty furniture or technical furniture as we call it, which may include these areas where the front desking systems and so on. So these are some of the areas where we are involved, and I think, and we bring to the table some of these globally accepted products and solutions.
Are you supplying anything to the railways at the moment?
Yeah, we have actually, like I just mentioned, to the railways, I mean to the stations, yes, not directly to the railways as much. I mean, we do make products. The largest, the product portfolio that we have are the laminates, and these are used inside the coaches as well. We do make laminates which are being supplied globally actually. In laminates, we are among the top 5 in the world actually. Unfortunately, Indian Railways is not buying much from us. We do make the fire retardant, specialty fire retardant laminates which are halogen free as well. So it's amongst the safest across the globe. Yeah, so these are some products, and some of these modern coaches, as we talk about now, do take in a lot of these products that we do make.
Thank you so much for your views, Mr. Daljeet Singh ji. I started from you, I come back to you again. Well, what are the, we have a very large and important and a very high level audience. What are the opportunities available today for the small scale and the medium scale industry from the requirements of the DMRC projects? Are there any new technologies you seek to further implement in these new phases?
In fact, we have experience of executing 3 phases, and based on the experience, what we come to know that metro is very capital intensive, and equally is the OPEX also. For the systems to be sustainable, it has to very optimum, all the systems should be optimum utilized. Keep in view of that way. In the last year, foremost, we have started the indigenous developing our CVT system. That is, we call it IATS, Automatic Train Supervisory System. It is a subsystem of the signaling system. And since we have seen that during the different phases, we have used the different vendors for this signaling system, and with the period of time, it required the upgradation. And once it upgraded, a lot of money is involved that way and time taken that way. To do away with this way, keep in view of the Atmanirbhar Bharat, the Make in India concept, we have thought of making IATS, and this IATS, it is advanced stage, and hopefully in the corridor 1, which is on the red line, we already started implementing, and this IATS, it is going to be a universal supervisory system which can be used to any metros, even if need be the railway, so that it can be changed according to the requirement of the line and the inputs. This is one thing we have gone with, and hope so in the later part it is going to be a big thing.
Mr. Daljeet Singh, this is for the point of view of the audience here. To supply any products to the DMRC, is the approval of RDSO mandatory?
No, not at all.
Can you throw some light to
Yes,
this?
we have some components that is there where we have in our system where we had to scrutinize all the requirement specification. RDO has given the specification, not the products. We, based on the specification, that we go with our internal mechanism and do the due diligence and give the approval of that.
Well, gentlemen, I hope you all are listening very carefully. To supply to DMRC, which is one of the major buyers, you do not require the approval of RDSO.
No, I think any item which is related to rolling stock and safety item, those are
Maybe there are some few of them you do require, but by and large for the small scale and the medium scale.
For any civil structure, no requirement of RDO, so it is all internal process of approval.
Well, anybody
Only
has
safety.
something to offer, we have the DCD here with us. And we have a few minutes to take a few questions by the people or by the audience. And anybody would like to ask him, may just raise his hand, and we have the panel in front of you. Can we have the mic there, sir? I thought talking about mountains, you would have many questions. Oh,
Hello.
sorry, sir, I'll just send another mic to you. Yeah, please.
Sir, I have one common question from Director Works as well from MD Uttarakhand. You have seen in most of the metro projects, so far as the civil works are concerned, there are only 3-4 elements. Pile cap, pier, then 27-meter sea girder, and 3-meter segment. Are there any innovative methods how to reduce the present dia of PO from 1.8 to 2 meter? Is there any innovative method that we can also increase the span between two piers, as nowadays we are using 27 to 30 meter center pier? Are there any innovative methods? 27 sea girder its length can be increased so that the total civil cost can be reduced.
This question is for whom?
It is a common question from
Anybody would like
Director
to
Works
answer,
as well Mr. Jitendra Tyagi.
I will answer for my area.
Yeah, why not, sir? Why not?
Otherwise, I can answer.
Now, coming to what he is saying, he wants that instead of the conventional, the thumb rule, which is 28 to 30 meter, what he is saying that way. No, these are meant, what we have gone with the different span arrangement, and we have come to the conclusion the optimized means the span length is somewhere in 30 meter. The moment we go with the more than that, then it becomes slightly uneconomical. Right now we have 3 or 4 types of span arrangement. We have gone with, based on experience, we have gone with segmental cast, where we have gone up to 37 meter. U-girder, we have gone with a 30 meter, which can be increased to 37 meter with the extended pier cap arrangement. Then coming to more, if it is more than 37 or 40 meter, slightly we have think of making a eye girder with a pre-stressing structure, and more than that special arrangement has to be done. Regarding the innovative, what you are mentioning that way, we have thought in the phase 4, doing this slightly, do away with this conventional, what we used to do, 1.8 meter, basically from earthquake point of view, from the congestion, what we have come to a conclusion that if you go, the reinforcement required beyond that will be more congestion. That's optimum dia which we have come across is 1.8 meter, which cannot be further reduced. Once innovation, which we are thinking that way, instead of having the conventional pile cap, we'll go thinking of making a monopiles, so that at least the problem of making the pile cap and number of pile arrangement we do with not disturbing the utility which are coming in the urban, which is the huge problematic that way. Since lot of not research were not available or the codal provision not allowing that way, we have not able to do, but hopefully in future, there is already one committee is set up by Ministry of Housing, where I am one of the member. We are advocating for this sort of arrangement also. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your views.
Thank you, sir.
We have time for one more question, please. Somebody from that side.
Before that, can I have 1 minute? Well, sir.
Yes, sir, why not?
Before I answer, can I have your introduction, please? Would you mind to give you? No, he has not replied. Are you from some designer or what?
Sir, only one question has not been replied. My another question was, can, I am no construction
please,
site. Sir.
no argument.
No,
No
my
argument, okay?
request is, if you are a designer and you have some idea, we would welcome if you can suggest us how to reduce. Because you see, innovation does not come only from departments. It comes from the industry also.
Yes,
In
sir.
fact, most of the innovations have come from the industry only. And we also depend on DDCs. What DDC suggests us, in fact, for Dehradun, we have invited tenders, and our the main mandate is this only: how to reduce the cost of station, how to reduce the cost of viaduct. What type of we have not given that we'll use U girder or I girder or any girder. We have asked DDC to suggest different girders and which will be the most economical for us.
Well, you know, if you have some very good suggestion which could, you know,
Welcome, most welcome.
Suggestion can come from anywhere. You are welcome to meet Sir or Mr. Daljeet Singh and offer your. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that is the, you know, now time we are fighting against it. Thank you so much for your time, and I believe through such discussions, we seek to create a very insightful and meaningful platform where knowledge, education, and new business opportunities can be exchanged between industry leaders, which can lead to further development and progress in the growing railway and metro sector of India. Thank you so much.